Welcome to Fireside Gaming. I'm Billum, and it's time to talk about Armored Core 6. The game came out last week, and I've been playing it for a bit now. At the time of making this video, I've gone through the first 2 chapters of the game. I won't talk about the story to avoid spoilers, but I will be showing gameplay from the first chapter of the game, so keep that in mind. I'm going to be a little less formal this time around as well, since this isn't a proper review, and do note that my experience with Armored Core is firmly in the PS1 and PS2 era. Until now, I had never played a game beyond Last Raven. Starting up Armored Core 6, my first thoughts were incredibly positive. I was given a mech that I could customize, including parts, paint jobs, decals, weapons, and such. And the missions I went through were a lot of fun. Challenging, but fun. Despite what you may be hearing online about this game being unforgiving and difficult beyond all belief, I actually think it's the easiest AC game for new players to jump into. There's plenty of tutorials to teach the player the mechanics of the game, and doing so earns them free parts, which is much nicer than I ever expected from an AC game. It also has updated controls, and I know that the tank controls of the first 2 gens of Armored Core games have kind of been a sticking point for some. Adding to that, players can actually make use of repair kits in the middle of missions. You get 3, and they go a long way towards making levels easier to beat. To go along with that, there's a checkpoint system that allows players to jump right back into the level if they die. Also, dying and coming back at a checkpoint refills all of the ammo, health, and repair kits players have. And not only that, players can customize their AC between deaths if they maybe didn't come in with the best setup for the mission. On the flip side of this, I won't deny that there are some really difficult bosses in this game. And truthfully, they bother me a little bit. Not because the battles are hard, I am all for that, but rather because they're all against giant enemies. It takes away from that feeling of running into other AC pilots and just taking them on with your AC versus their AC, and it's like a really nice, ace versus ace feeling, if that makes sense. Instead, all of the bosses that I've done so far really just feel like uphill struggles that require the players to make use of the stagger system, which is another small complaint that I have. First off, I don't get why it's called stagger. FromSoft should have went with something more mecha feeling in term, like overheat or system crash, something to tie it into the mecha setting, but that really is a minor thing. The second problem I have with the stagger system is that it creates this weird formula to the game where every encounter just turns into attacking with weapons that increase the stagger bar to full before unloading on the staggered enemy with more powerful attacks. And oftentimes that means melee weapons. It just kind of makes every encounter feel a bit samey after a while, and not what I was expecting from an AC game. It's almost too formulaic, if that makes sense. I will say that it does make me appreciate the arena, which is back from prior AC games. It's the best place for one-on-one AC battles, and I really like it. I just wish that I ran into more AC pilots during missions. Or that they were more of a focus when I do, and not just the mid-boss of a level before the big hulking enemy shows up. For those wondering, I will mention that I am playing on a PlayStation 4 Pro and that I have my game set to performance mode, which means that this is 1080p footage. I didn't run into any frame rate drops or anything like that, and the game looked great while I was playing it. And with just a quick word on movement, I'll say that AC6 is much faster than the Armored Core games that I know. This makes it a game much more focused on quick dodging between enemy attacks. And that isn't a negative, and players will still have to constantly monitor their boost gauge, their AC weight, and other factors, but I just kind of thought that was something worth mentioning if there are other older players like me that are getting into this series for the first time in a while. And of course, these are just my initial impressions of Armored Core 6. I haven't beaten the game yet, and even when I do, I won't be covering it on the channel immediately. I'm sticking to the results of that poll I created, which were in favor of me reviewing the game in order as part of my Armored Core series review. Considering that I'm only just getting to the second generation of AC games, it's gonna be a little bit before I have all of my AC6 thoughts ready. So please bear with me until then. Also, I'd really love to hear everyone's opinions on Armored Core 6, whether you're a new player coming into it for the first time, or if you're a veteran Raven that's been with the series for years now. In conclusion, I do like Armored Core 6. It's not quite what I was expecting, and I obviously need to see more of the game before I can make a final opinion. But I like what I'm playing, I just wish it maybe wasn't so formulaic and kind of samey feeling with the stagger system. It's still a really good game, don't get me wrong, just to be clear, and I do look forward to giving my final thoughts. But considering that's a ways off, I'll just have to say thank you for watching, and until next time, take it easy.